Hey guys, Mike here. Great to be back for Guitar World column number 3. This month we're going to look at something a little bit different. It's not going to be composition based as such, and it's not going to be heavy on the percussive techniques. Instead, we're going to go back in time and look at the very first sort of one-man band kind of technique, Travis picking, developed by the late great Merle Travis out of Kentucky. You will, if you don't know the term Travis picking, or you don't know Merle Travis's music, maybe you know the technique. I mean, it's very popular now with players like Tommy Emmanuel. I mean, Chet Atkins as well used this a lot. It's the act of picking a bass line based on maybe octaves or fifths on a beat, you know, on a steady beat, while the other fingers can sort of pick around and create melodies on the offbeats, or on the beats as well. But the idea is it creates the illusion of a bass player sort of joining the guitar player, standing in the background and holding down that rhythm. Okay, so I think that's very interesting for a lot of modern fingerstyle players to study, because you know a lot of acoustic players nowadays are into the whole solo acoustic guitar one-man band thing. Whereas this is the first sort of guy to really blow people's minds with this stuff in this right hand, okay? So I came up with an exercise for you guys, a 12-bar blues. Of course, it's a guitar column, we have to do a blues. A 12-bar blues in E that showcases not only the Travis picking technique, but it will allow you to hammer on, pull off, use these fingers in the right hand, you know, picking the treble strings in every possible combination around this steady bass line. So we'll have notes picked with the bass note, notes picked on the offbeat with the bass note, hammer-ons onto the beat, pull-offs onto the beat, and vice versa, hammering on off the beat, you know, things like that. So the idea is it will unlock a lot of doors in your sort of muscle memory. You know, it'll give you some new muscle memory. So hopefully, after learning this exercise, you will be able to Travis pick your way through anything in just improvising, you know, which is very important. And it's a blues. We have to do the blues, right? So we're going to start with this bass line. Nice and simple. E major, well, it's just E right now. The root and the octave, okay? The first bar is going to sound like this. Okay. Nice and slowly, that is. So you'll notice that as this goes on, the bass line varies a little bit. Now, Travis picking doesn't always have to be octaves or fifths, but it's generally on the beat. The bass lines are on the beat, okay? So we have a little bit of variation in the bass already. Our index finger is going to pinch on that second beat and hammer on the G string to create that major third, okay? Then our third finger, finger A, as we call it, annular, is going to pick that open top string on the offbeat. Okay. Now, some good practice would just be to practice that round and round and round, just to loosen up those fingers and get that thumb nice and consistent. Next, we have this pull off, so picking on the beat with the pinky on that third finger. I mean, you can use the third finger if you like, but I prefer the pinky here on that third fret. So. Then we have a hammer-on, hammering onto the beat. That's the first part that some of you might find a little bit tricky, but once you practice that, it'll become clear, you'll gain that new muscle memory, okay? Finally, we pick the top string on the offbeat, come down with a nice accent and a little quarter bend, because it's blues, on that G. Then we repeat that. We play it twice. Nice and simple, okay? Next, we're going to go to the A7, okay? Because it's 12-bar blues. That sounds a little something like this, okay? Now that can be your pinky as well. If you like, it's entirely up to you. It's personal preference. But let's break down what's happening here. In the bass, we have the A going to the fifth, okay? Round and round. In the top, we have the B string and E string picked together on that second beat with a little implied bend, a little quarter bend on the top on that G note. Then off on the offbeat. Now we're going to be hammering on in between on the offbeat. I remember I told you we're doing every possible combination of hammer on, pull off, and pick notes here in the treble. By now that motion should be quite familiar, and I don't think you'll have any problems with that. If you do, write into the magazine and complain. But this part is a tricky one. Here you're going to be pulling off as you pick that fifth. It's harder than it looks for anyone trying Travis picking for the first time, okay? We end with the I, so index finger picking that open G string in the middle of that A7 shape, okay? And then we return back to our E7 shape. So nice and simple. We're nearly there already. Next, we're going to go to our B7 shape. Nice and simple. You all know this chord. We're picking the top two strings on the on beat and then on the off beat. And you should be familiar with that in the right hand because we've just done it with this. You know, it's the same pattern in the right hand. B7. Now this next bar is a little bit trickier. And our last beat's actually going to be a little percussive click there because, you know, it's 2016, man. Okay, so we have another A7 shape, this time picking that double stop on the beat, then pulling off that finger to reveal the two second fret notes, then the big stretch, the pinky coming into the fifth fret, okay. And then the little slap on the end. The reason I'm going to do that slap is because we're then going to move up, and the last couple of bars are going to be a nice Jerry Reed style fill. Something a little bit different, sounding something like this. Yeehaw. So here we go. You can swing it if you like, or you can do it straight. Personal preference. Depends on your outlook on life, or if it's a sunny day, a cold day, if it's a Tuesday or a Monday or whatever. But let's look at that. We have a little hammer on here, hammering up to that root, up to that octave. Then the third finger is going to be picking the top string. Now, very important, as the third finger picks that top string, we're going to shift hand position. Now, this is something that Jerry Reed did a lot. He used the open strings to facilitate moving the actual hand up and down the fretboard, okay? Whilst playing open strings, you can create the illusion of lightning fast runs. Well, you are playing lightning fast runs, but you know, you have the freedom to be able to move. You're not stuck in one box shape, okay? So, after that, we're going to come down this little arpeggio by playing one note per string with these four separate digits here. So A, M, I, P, okay, on those frets. Again, we're then going to slide down the neck, and what are we going to do when we slide? Play these two open strings. Then we have this nice little fill at the bottom here. Now, throughout this whole exercise, I've been using the golden rule of finger style, which is using your thumb, or P, polga, to pick just the bottom three strings, and I, M, and A to pick the top three. The whole time, the thumb is in charge of this. This is the thumb's territory, okay? But at the very end, I'm using the thumb to mute that bottom string, and I'm just going to pop that D string, because why not? Again, it's 2016, man. We do what we like. So that's the fill. And here's the 12-bar blues in full. Swung, a little bit muted as well. Happy bluesing. Good luck with it. Enjoy Travis picking.